continuing our discussion of Sri Vishnu Sahasranama, elaborate meditations on the transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, Krishna. We're most fortunate to be able to discuss this by the mercy of the Supreme Lord Himself, who happily listened to Bhishma Pitamaha recite these names to Yudhishthira, and by whose mercy, Krishna's mercy, we have received the mercy of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, so that we have access to the discussions of these names as commented upon by various acharyas of the Vaishnava Sampradayas and even of the Advaita Sampradaya. We have commentary by Shankaracharya also. Name 906 is Araudra. Araudra, what does that mean? Raudra sounds like Rudra, doesn't it? So that's what the name means. It means he's not like Rudra, in the sense that Rudra means angry, violent. Vishnu is Araudra. Now he may say that, well, he does have his angry, violent forms and moods. There's no doubt about it. Definitely on Nrsimha Chaturdashi, we take great pleasure in celebrating the anger and violence of Bhagavan in the form of Nrsimha, ripping to pieces the intestines, the stomach of Hiranyakashipu. All right, that's true. He is angry and violent, but his inherent nature is Araudra. Gentle, calm, pleasant. He's full of all qualities, but his even opposing qualities, but his basic disposition is that he is not angry. He's very peaceful, gentle, nice. Shankaracharya says, Avapta sarva kamadvena ragadveshade abhavat iti arodra. Shankaracharya, drawing on the descriptions in Bhagavad Gita and elsewhere, that anger comes about from material desire. Kamat krodho bijayate. We know from Bhagavad Gita that from material desire arises anger. But the Supreme Lord is beyond desire, therefore he's beyond anger. Now, he has desire and he has anger, but clearly Krishna, when he instructs in Bhagavad Gita about the downfall of the soul from meditating on sense objects and trying to enjoy sense objects, Krishna's desire and Krishna's anger, even if we admit at the same time that we say Araudra, he was not angry, even if we admit that he is angry, we have to say that his anger is not like the anger of conditioned souls like myself, who, when frustrated in their attempts to enjoy this material world, become angry. Or we become angry at people who thwart our attempts at material enjoyment, or people who just, they get on our nerves and we don't like them. Krishna's desire is the root of material desire, in the sense that Krishna is the source of everything. So our material desire is a perverted reflection of Krishna's truly transcendental, all-good desire. But it's not the same thing. It's a perverted reflection. It's not the same thing. Krishna's desire is fully pure. We, in this material situation, we cannot imagine desire that is selfless. A desire means something you desire for yourself. You want something for yourself. But Krishna's desire is a completely different nature. His desire is to give pleasure to his devotees, to give auspiciousness to the whole world. We just heard so many names connected with swasti. Swasti means auspiciousness. So Shankaracharya says that Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, is devoid of any desire that leads to any action to attain some desired object, because Krishna already has everything. So we desire to get something which we don't have. When we don't get it, it leads to anger, or when we get it, we want more of the same or some other object, and so the cycle goes on and on and on, but Bhagavan is completely free from this. So because he is akama, he has no material desire, then naturally he is arodre, he has no material anger either. Baladev Vidyabhushan says that Bhagavan is just the opposite of Rudram. Ananda Purnatvat Arodra Prasanna Murtihi. He is the very form of full, complete, and perfect bliss. He is by nature very happy. So where is the anger in him? He quotes, Baladev Vidyabhushan quotes from Mahabharata, Aroshanohya Saudeva, the Supreme Lord, has no anger. Definitely he's not driven as we are by this dushparenanalena cha, the anger, the lust that burns in our heart like fire and drives us to anger. Krodha kina kare keba, Narotanda says. Krodha kina kare keba. When one is angry, what is there that one cannot do? But the Supreme Lord is not like that. The state of perfection for us, conditioned mortal beings, is beyond the frailties of the material world, beyond the cruelty that arises from anger. But the Supreme Lord is always above that, so he's always in the perfect condition. So definitely the Supreme Lord has violent forms, but his general countenance we see as in typical traditional paintings of Vishnu or in deities' forms, very peaceful, smiling face. The demigods are also depicted like that. That is their general countenance. They're demigods. They do partake in the nature of God, the Supreme Lord, to some extent. They reflect his qualities. Even Kartikeya, the Kartikeya Skanda, in Tamil Nadu known as Murugan, Shanmukan, he is the commander-in-chief of the demigods. He was summoned to this world to fight. But we see, definitely in Tamil Nadu, we see everywhere pictures of, especially Bal Murugan, the child form of Murugan, Kartikeya, with his veil, his lance for fighting, but his face is very peaceful, smiling and happy. So that is the basic transcendental position. And anger may arise in the Supreme Lord, but his basic countenance, his basic disposition is very peaceful. It's not that he's angry by nature. Some people we see, they're very angry by nature. Very easily they're disturbed and that's called irascible, someone who's angry by nature and you're afraid to talk to them because at any little provocation or even without provocation, they become angry. The Dhyana Shlokam of the Vishnu Sahasranama, there are various verses that one recites before reciting the Vishnu Sahasranama, among which one is very famous, begins with the word Shantakaram, which means that his very form is peaceful. We see just the form. Just meditate, see the picture, the deity of Vishnu. He radiates peacefulness, and even materialistic, pious people, Hindus, they go to temples, and although they're in the world, they're moving in the world, they have various desires, hopes, anxieties, fears, they like to go to the temple and just feel the peace. They find peace there. So that verse at the beginning of the Vishnu Sahasranam is generally recited. Shantakaram bhujagashayanam padmanabham suresham vishvadharang gaganasadrisham meghavarnang shubhangam lakshmi kantam kamalanayanam yogibhidhyanagamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikanatham. He is Araudra for the devotees, but not for the demons, as we understand from the statement of Prahlad Maharaj, who is not in the slightest bit perturbed by the terrible anger of Nrsimhadev, because Prahlad Maharaj, he was right there, right next to Nrsimha, when Nrsimha was exhibiting his most terrible anger. Afterwards, Prahlad in his prayers said to Bhagavan Narasimhadev, Naham bibhem yajita teti bhayanakasya jivarka netra brukuti rabhasogradang strat antrasrajakshata Keshara Shanku Karnan Nihrada Bhita Digibad Aribhinda Kagrat. My Lord, who are never conquered by anyone, I am certainly not afraid of your ferocious mouth and tongue, your eyes bright like the sun, or your frowning eyebrows. I do not fear your sharp pinching teeth, your garland of intestines, your mane soaked with blood, or your high wedge-like ears. Nor do I fear your tumultuous roaring, which makes elephants flee to distant places, or your nails, which are meant to kill your enemies. Why should Prahlad be afraid? Nrsimhadev exhibited that anger to protect Prahlad. V.V. Ramanujan, one commentator, points out that even though Bhagavan shows such extreme anger, his devotees are not in the slightest bit disturbed. They don't start to think, well, maybe he's not so transcendental, or maybe he'll kill me too. They don't think like that. They're fully confident in Bhagavan. He has anger, you can't deny it. His name is Araudra, you cannot deny it, who is without anger. But we can't deny he has anger. There are many descriptions of his anger. Here is one description. The Kauravas, being afraid of Balaram's anger, directed at them, said to him a verse beginning with the word kopa. Kopa is one word for anger. There are various words in Sanskrit for anger. Just as in English, there also are various words for anger. So one of them is krodh is common, rosha often means anger of love. Kopa is another word. So this verse begins with the word kopa. The Kauravas address Lord Balaram, who came to Hastinapur at the time when Samba the son of Krishna, had kidnapped Lakshmana, the daughter of Duryodhana, and the Kauravas were very angry at Samba and they arrested him, and Balaram came and he was very angry at the Kauravas, who in fear said to him, Kupaste kila shikshartham nadvesha nacha matsarat bibrato bhagavan sattvam stiti palana tatparaha. And particularly, out of the many verses describing the anger of the Supreme Lord, I particularly selected to recite this one because it explains how even when he is displaying his incomparable anger, the Supreme Lord is still Araudra, without anger. The translation given, your anger, Balaram, your anger is meant for instructing everyone. It is not a manifestation of hatred or envy. O Supreme Lord, you sustain the pure mode of goodness and you become angry only to maintain and protect this world. There's a name coming up fairly soon, 9 names from now, Akrura, which means not cruel, similar name, and we look forward to discussing that also. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dante nitaya chunakang padayani patyakrit vacha kakushatam etad aham bravimi he sadhava sakala eva vihaya durad Gauranga Chandra Charne Kurutanu Raga Parivadatu Jano Yatata Tava Nanumukaro Navayang Vichara Yamaha Hari Rasamadi Ramadati Mata Bhuvivilotama Jayati Jananivaso Deviki Janmavado Yaduvara Parishad Swardor Birasyanda Dharmam Sthirachara Vrijanakana Susmita Shri Mukena Vrajapura Vanitanam Vardhayan Kamadevam Barhapiram Nartavaravapu Karnayo Karnikaram Vibradvasa Kanakakapisham Vaijayantim Chamalam Randran Veno Adara Sudaya Purayan Gopa Vrindaya Vrindaranyam Svapadaramanam Pravishad Gita Kirtihi Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaya Vasvadyo Yenadbhuta Madhurima Kidrisho Vamadiya Sokyang Chasyamad Anubhavata Kidrisham Vedi Lobhat Tadbhavardya Samajani Shachi Garbha Sindho Harinduhu Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama